Black people should be against illegal aliens. Part 2. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show with your host, Kevin Cardinale, in association with www.lasvegasnevadadui.com. This is part 2 in the series. This is what black leaders should be talking about. Black people should be against illegal aliens. In this video, I'm going to share with you actual facts and details and stories of how exactly illegal aliens take jobs from the lower class black people. Now, I started in my first video that illegal aliens directly impact the lower class and unskilled and low skilled labor of black people. A lot of you all called me racist. Let me get this out of the way right up front. I am a Pan-Africanist. The thing that you don't understand is that most black people go along with white people to their detriment. As they go along with white people, what they do not do is compete for jobs, compete politically, compete for finance, compete for funding. When they don't do that, black people lose. And black people have been losing for over 100 years. They don't get lawyers and doctors and what have you to go after politicians and policies and create policies that are good for black people. All policy as it stands now is good for every other group but black people. When it comes to black people, we come dead last and we are not thought of. As a Pan-Africanist, I think of black people first and I think of black people last. How will it impact black people and what is good for black people? This issue is strictly what is good for black people. Now, if you do not like that, if you do not like me talking politics, please don't watch this video, because you do yourself no service and me no service. If you are not for black people, please don't watch this video. This video is for black people. And I don't want to hear, we need to have this lovey-dovey world where people don't look at. I need to bring you down to reality. Here's the reality. All groups in the United States and the world compete except black people. I'm here to put the competition back into black people. The reality is Mexicans, Latinos, Jews, whites, Scandinavians, Irish, Scottish, Filipinos, Chinese, Japanese, all compete, all have lobbyists, all have lawyers, all have politicians, all have policies geared to help them. Black people do not. Pan-Africanism is the philosophy that the entire world population of blacks should come first and be autonomous. That means separate and as powerful as white people or the West. Now, when we get into this issue, I'm going to talk about what's good for black people. Illegal aliens are not good for black people. They take jobs directly from black people. Let me give you an example. In October 2008, amidst claims that one of its subsidiaries was knowingly hiring illegal immigrants, North Carolina Poultry Produce House of Rayford Farms initiated a systematic conversion of its workforce. Following a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement raid that nabbed 300 undocumented workers at a Columbia Farms processing plant in Columbia, South Carolina, a spooked House of Rayford quietly began replacing immigrants with native-born labor at all of its plants. Less than a year later, House of Rayford flagship production line in Rayford, North Carolina, had been transformed going from more than 80% Latino to 70% African American, according to a report by the Charlotte Observer. Now that is a direct story, real story of what is going on. Obviously, the low-skilled and unskilled labor workforce was filled with undocumented workers. When they wanted to replace them to be in compliance with law, with the law of the land, who did they replace them with? Black workers. Quote, "I don't believe there are any jobs that Americans won't take, and that includes agricultural jobs," says Carol Swain, professor of law at Vanderbilt University and author of Debating Immigration, Illegal Immigration. Hurts low-skilled, low-wage workers of all races, but blacks are harmed the most because they're disproportionately low-skilled. End quote. Now here you have this professor and author say directly that through her research, she's determined that illegal aliens and their work directly impacts black workers. For their efforts, African Americans were paid a median household income of $32,000 in 2007. In the same year, the median household income for illegal immigrants was $37,000. Now, what does that mean? That means that black Americans actually earn less than illegal aliens. So this notion that blacks will not take jobs at the same pay is completely and utterly false. Black lower classes are hired for the same exact jobs as illegal aliens and actually paid less. Not every illegal alien makes $6 or $5 an hour. You have to understand that. Audrey Singer is a senior fellow specializing in race and immigration at the Brookings Institution. She agrees that blacks are disproportionately hindered by illegal immigration, but says that pay is a necessary variable to note when talking about Americans' will and won't do. Quote, "There is evidence that shows people at the lower end of the skill spectrum are most affected by immigrant labor, particularly illegal immigrant labor." End quote. Quote, "But would Americans do the jobs illegal workers do at the wages that they're paid? I don't think so." Now that is just her opinion. I just gave you evidence that black Americans were earning less than illegal aliens, but she's trying to justify the illegal aliens. Besides competing for work while simultaneously attempting to avoid drastically deflated paychecks and benefits, unemployed African American job seekers must also frequently combat racial discrimination. In a 2006 research paper called "Discrimination in Low-Wage Labor Markets," a team of Princeton sociologists discovered that, all else being equal, black applicants to low-wage jobs were 10% less likely than Latinos to receive positive responses from potential employers. Furthermore, employers were twice as likely to prefer white applicants to equally qualified blacks. All things being equal, racism still exists in hiring in the United States. Once again, that is from a team of Princeton sociologists. They conducted their own research. Even former Mexican President Vicente Fox fell victim to the hype infamously declared in 2006 that Mexican immigrants perform the jobs that not even blacks want to do. Despite President Fox's assertion of the Pew Hispanic Center's top 6 occupation sectors for undocumented immigrants: farming, maintenance, construction, food service, production, and material moving. All 6 employed hundreds of thousands of blacks in 2008. That year, almost 15% of meat processing workers were black, as were more than 18% of janitors. And although blacks, on the whole, aren't involved in agriculture at anywhere near the rates of illegal immigrants, a quarter of whom work in farming, about 14% of fruit and vegetable sorters are African American. Here are my sources in doing research for just this video. Just this video. I do my research for other videos as well. Washington Times, Numbers USA, Seattle Times, Front Page Mag, Black Sphere, The Root, Topix, NBC's News, The Grio, People, and Pew Research, Direct Pew Research. As a Pan-Africanist, I'm going to tell you what is good for black people. And the crux of my concentration is economics and finance. Economics and finance. Economics and finance. A lot of people scream racism. What is racism? I'm going to do a video just on that, but I want to touch on it briefly right now. Racism is nothing more than a group effort, not a single person effort, a group effort to take the resources from one group and give it to another group. So, let's apply that to slavery. That definition applies to slavery directly, right? One group, the white group, takes resources directly from another group, the Africans. And they had to do the same thing to the white people to go along with slavery. Because at the end of the day, no human, if they're an actual human, is going to want to willingly keep somebody as a slave. It goes against human nature. It goes against human nature. Humans are a pack animal. We're not a lone animal. We're a pack animal. So even if you're taught to hate somebody like a black person, your nature, your human nature is still going to come out, and you're going to say, why am I keeping this black person as a slave? There's something wrong with this picture. Continued mind wiping. Now, this is a situation that we still have today. We are still being brainwashed by the white media, by the white elite, by the white moneyed elite, into thinking that there is something wrong with black people. So when you get somebody like me who says this is wrong, all the stuff that you hear day in, day out that brainwashes you, covers your eyes. But what I'm saying is the truth. The economic and financial truth. Illegal aliens directly impact and take jobs from black people. Disproportionately so. Why? Because the economic rate of blacks compared to all other groups is shifted 10 to 30% downwards economically. Yes, we have Oprah. Yes, we have Spike Lee. Yes, we have all of the black CEOs. Yes, we have those people, these multimillionaires, these billionaires. Yes, we have those. But the majority of the group, the majority of the pack of black people as a whole are shifted economically downward 10 to 30%, depending on who's whose chart you're looking at. Since it's shifted downward, that means a disproportionate amount of black people are going to be in the unskilled and low skilled wage bracket and workforce and labor force. And that's it for my show, Shikama Live. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live show.